All right, looks like we're live. We are live. All right. Welcome, everyone. Just checking to make sure everything's working. Yo, okay. Looks like everybody's here. Great. People are piling in. Let me pop my chat out so I can see it a little bit better. And hello, Science Factory, Matisse, and looks like Tamia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Looks like more and more people are chiming in. And hello, everybody. Hello, UK. Hello, Hawaii. Hello, Renee. Hello, David. Alrighty. Yo, Mr. White. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Tampa. All right. I could sit here and say hello all day, and I would love to, but I think I need to get on and start showing some stuff. So, hello, everybody. Welcome. Glad you guys could make it over to the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube channel, where we stream here on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, we'll be doing a 3-day stream again starting next week on Tuesday, which I'll show you a little bit more about in the middle of this stream. But welcome, everybody, from all over the world. And for those of you watching this on demand or on the replay, thanks again for watching. Once again, my name is Terry White. I'm the worldwide design and photography evangelist for Adobe. It's my pleasure to be streaming to you live. It's actually my first time on the Creative Cloud YouTube channel. I normally stream on the various Facebook channels for Adobe, but I'm looking forward to streaming here on a regular basis as well. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to see so many of my friends and followers here from my other channels. And we're going to get started here right about now and talk about one of the things that is in InDesign. I've shown it a few times, but a lot of people are still unaware that this capability even exists. And that is the ability to take an InDesign document and publish it, not only publish it to the web, but make it interactive and publish it to the web. And InDesign has interactive capabilities and has had for years. But in the past, those interactive capabilities were all geared for Flash output. And so with the kind of, slowing down or decline of Flash use, it would be a shame to let all those interactive capabilities go to waste. So what the InDesign team did was they took the structure of basically what those easy to make or interactive components could be and made them HTML5 based as well. So that way you can make the interactive stuff happen in your document. Have movies play, have buttons that people can click on, have rollovers, have things fly into the page, do all of that, and then publish the entire document as a document online. So if you think back as far as like, what does this kind of replace, or how has this evolved? If you think about maybe 10 years ago, if you needed to do something like that, you would make an interactive PDF. And so that way you send that PDF to someone and they could click on the links and they could do things inside the PDF, watch movies, so forth and so on. And while interactive PDF is still a thing, it's not really a thing anymore. And here's why. Because what really makes interactive PDF work is as long as someone that you're sending it to is looking at it in the Adobe Reader. Now that we have smartphones, tablets, Windows, and all these other things that have PDF, even and macOS as well, all these things have PDF viewing built in. Now you've got this hodgepodge of technologies that don't all support all the aspects of PDF. So the user's going to have a different interactive experience depending on what platform they're viewing it on. And so if they're not looking at it in the reader, then the interactive stuff may work, it may not work. Some of it may work, some of it may not work. And so that's the problem with interactive PDFs. However, the one thing that's pretty consistent for the most part is that if you look at a web page and you you code the page properly, most people, if not everyone, should be able to see what's going on that page, no matter what device they're viewing it on. So that's kind of the history of where this interactive publishing feature came from. It kind of evolved from the interactive stuff being Flash-based. the interactive stuff being PDF based to where now it's web based. So I'll answer a question that I normally get right off the bat, and that question is, hey, so you mean I can make web pages with InDesign? No, that's not what it means. It means you can make documents like you always did with InDesign and share those documents on the web. That's what it means. So you're not using this as a web design tool. You're basically taking a document that you were going to make anyway and sharing that document with all its interactivity, all its glory, all its video, all its images on the internet easily for people to be able to view. So think of it, for example, if your company or you were the designer of your company's annual report, because it's annual report time. It's the end of last year, so people are busy making annual reports. And you wanted to share that annual report, you could share it as a PDF, but if you want to put it online for the rest of the world to be able to see, then you could make an interactive InDesign document. So they not only see the information, but they can also interact with the document. So that's what this is for. Okay, so let's switch my computer over, or switch over to my computer so we can take a look at how this is going to work. Let me make sure I'm not missing any of the comments. All right. I think I'm not seeing anything I don't. Yes, I'm actually working on an annual report right now. It is that time of year. Okay, so let me switch over to InDesign. And now that I'm in InDesign, I've got a regular, good old-fashioned InDesign document in front of me. This one's kind of a little bit more elaborate than most InDesign documents. For example, even this first page that I'm looking at is actually, even though the page itself is not that big, there's a big giant image, like a panoramic image across the page. And the reason for that panoramic image, as you can see, there's this little green bar. That panoramic image is designed to move slowly in the background as the rest of the stuff builds on the page. So that in and of itself is a piece of interactivity. So one of the things I'm going to have you do, if you attempt to do one of these, one thing that'll make your life a lot easier here in InDesign is if you switch to a workspace that has all the interactive stuff in it. So for example, if I go up to where it says typography, that's the last workspace I was on, and I go down to, I know it doesn't really sound like you're probably tempted to jump for interactive for PDF, but trust me, go to digital publishing instead, because digital publishing will give you that workspace. In fact, mine's kind of messy, but it'll give you that workspace with all the pieces that you would need to not only make a digital publishing document using DPS, which is a whole different product for us, but more importantly for this interactivity for InDesign. So for example, you'll have the animation panel. And in the animation panel, if you click on something that has animation in it, let's see if I can find something here, you should be able to preview that animation and see what that's going to look like. So I'm previewing this. Let's see if this will come up. Actually, it's trying to show me the first page. And it's kind of showing me the animation here for those three things building on. Let's see if I can jump to a different page. And then, okay, here it is. And then here's that mountain scene scrolling across. And the items, again, animating in, complete with rollovers. So as I hover over each thing, it's showing me. So that's the beauty of this interactivity preview, is that you can test your interactive things without having to necessarily publish them on the web as you do them. So for example, let me just to get this out of the way, I'm going to make a new document rather than mess with this one, because we're going to use this one at the end to publish. I'm going to show you how to make something interactive, and then we'll come back to this document to do the publishing. So let's go to InDesign. Let's start from where you would be starting. Let's start from scratch. New document. And I'm just going to make a simple 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 8.5 page. And we'll just go ahead and say that we want to make the intent for the web. And we'll make it, or we'll just click OK. Now, of course, it can be a print document that you make interactive. It doesn't have to be for the web. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. All right. So now that we've got this blank document, you just saw me create it from scratch. There's nothing on it. I need to put something on it to be able to animate. So you can animate just about anything. I'm going to go ahead and animate something from, let's grab a stock image. I kind of like those clouds that were floating by. So let's search for Adobe Stock. And let's search for a good clouds image. And there's some good clouds images. I can see some of them are nice and wide as well. So that might work out. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I like one better than the other one. Ooh, I like this one better. Glad I didn't license the first one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and license that one. And yes, I do want to license it. I didn't have to license it first. I could have previewed it first, but I already know I like that one. So now it's syncing down to high res. I'm just going to go ahead and drag that in. I get the place gun, and then we can go ahead and place it. Now, of course, like I said, that's a nice wide image, so that's perfect. That's what I wanted, but it's still not tall enough. So let's go ahead and make it, let's zoom out a little bit, and we're going to make it taller. We're just going to scale it. I'll put the library panel away. I'm going to hold down my Command and Shift. PC, that will be Control Shift. And we're just going to scale that frame to be the height of our document. Okay, so now we've got our nice full page cloud image. Sorry, let me turn off my notifications here. My nice full page cloud image ready to go, and I now want to animate that moving across the page. So how do I do that? I go to my animation panel, and I'm just looking at your comments here to make sure I'm not missing anything. Can you see the real life example that lives on the web now? If you can, if you wait till I actually publish it, then you'll be able to see it. Working on interactive job application. Does this have an upload files option? All right, we'll cover that. And by the way, no, I know what you mean now. No, you can't use this to have people upload files to you, but you can use it to attach links to files that people can download. Okay. All right, so now that we've got this, this image ready to go, I've got my animation panel up, and it shows me that that's the one that I have, meaning this is the image I have selected. Now you notice that there's an option to choose a preset. This means that I can choose what I want, built-in animation that I want to happen. So no coding, no typing in commands, no JavaScript, none of that. It all happens for you. So for example, if I choose a preset, here are all the presets I can choose. So I can choose fly in from the bottom, fly in from the left, fly in from the right, fly out, all from the left, top, bottom, and right. Move left, move right, move and scale, so forth and so on. Bounce, dance, pause, fly. All of these particular presets are ready to go. So for example, and by the way, if you are doing Flash, there are some that say for Swift only. That's what it means. These only work in Flash. They don't work anywhere else. So that's why they're denoted that way. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say we want to move left. And it showed me a little preview of what that looks like. And now, here's the most important part. How long do I want it to take? And how many times do I want it to happen? I only want it to happen one time. I don't want it to loop. And the speed, I can have it ease in and ease out as well. So it doesn't jerk. It just eases in and eases out. And I can also have that take, let's say, duration. Let's have that take 5 seconds. All right, that's still pretty fast, but let's go ahead and preview it. And there's my moving clouds for 5 seconds. Like I said, that's pretty fast. All right. So since that's pretty fast, obviously if I wanted to slow it down, I just have it take longer. So instead of clicking the up button, I can say make it take 10 seconds instead. So now let's preview that. And so now it should move at half the speed, which that's about right. Maybe even slower than that. Yeah, that's still too fast. Maybe 15 or 20 seconds. But you get the idea. That's how easy it is to make something move or have something happen inside of InDesign. So for example, let's make it 20 seconds so it's really slow, kind of subtle in the background. And now let's move on to the next thing. So the next thing, for example, maybe I want to have, let's see here. Maybe I want to have, if I have an image already that I want. All right, we'll do live stream since that's what we're doing right now. All right, so we'll come in, we'll play, oops, I didn't mean to make it that big. We'll place our live stream logo here. And of course, normally I would take the time to go in Photoshop and cut that out so it doesn't have a white background, but you get the idea. As a matter of fact, I might even be able to use a blending mode on that. Let's see, to save me a little bit of time. Let's see, can I do, that will give me, oh, let's see what I can do here with transparency. Instead of the blending mode of normal, let's have it do, let's see what light will, actually no, let's see what darken will do. Yeah, oh, preview it would help. There we go. All right, we preview that on darken. That kind of fakely, removes the white background by hiding it. All right, so just using a blending mode on that, I didn't have to go over to Photoshop and cut it out. Now, what I want to happen is I want to animate that. So let's say that I want to animate that one, and let's choose an animation for it. Let's say that I want it to just simply fade in. And so it'll just fade in, and I want it to fade in 2 seconds. Now, if you've ever done this before, you're laughing right now because you know what's about to happen when I preview this. It's not going to work right. Here's what's about to happen. Let's preview it. Where's my live stream? You know why that's not working? Because by default, animation happens in order. So in other words, I got to wait 20 seconds for this to finish before I would see my live stream. There it is. It didn't preview it right, but there it is. All right, so how can we make that not be the case? How can we make it so it does these things at the same time? I don't want to have to wait 20 seconds in order for my next 2-second thing to happen, and then my next 4-second thing to happen, so forth and so on. Well, we get out of the animation panel for that to work, and we head over to the timing panel. And in the timing panel, that's where we go in, and we can say, yes, we want things to happen on page load, so when this page loads, that's what we want to happen. But you notice there's 2 items here, and right now, those 2 items are playing in order. So they're playing with the art summer background first. That's going to take 20 seconds. And then this next thing is going to take 2 seconds. So what I can do is select both of them, and I can go in and say, play together. So in other words, don't wait for the first one to finish before you start the second one. Play them both at the same time. All right, so now if we go back and preview that, which we can do it from here as well. There we go. So they happen at the same time, and the background continues to fade in after. So you can play around with timing. You can delay things individually. So I can say, well, yeah, I want that to play together, but I want this one to be delayed by a few seconds. So you can play with all kinds of timing things to make things happen as you want them to happen. So that's another way to do it. The next thing is that let's say we want to have this live stream actually go to something. In other words, when people, we want to make it interactive, so people, when it pops up, people will actually be able to tap on it and have it do something. In order for that to happen, we need to make that into a hyperlink. So again, the hyperlinks panel, that's why you want to go to this digital publishing workspace, because it just gives you everything you're going to need in one spot. So that's going to give me my hyperlinks panel, and now that I've got that object selected, I can say that this is going to go to adobelive.com, which is where our 3-day live stream is going to happen. And as soon as I enter and it even did a quick little check to make sure that that's a valid URL or a valid domain. It may not be the right one, but it just went out on the internet real quick, said, yep, that exists, came back and gave me a green button. If it gave me a red button, then it means that it can't get to that domain for whatever reason. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. It just quickly does a validation check to make sure your link goes somewhere, or at least goes where you typed in. And if it came back red, I would check to make sure I typed it in correctly. Otherwise, I may have mistyped the domain. Just a quick little easy thing for that to happen. So now that this has a button on it, when someone taps or clicks on that, it would actually take them in their browser to that adobelive.com. speaking of AdobeLive.com, let's take a quick break and tell you about the 3-day stream that's going to happen starting next week. All right, and I'm back. So that was just a quick ad for our 3-day stream that's happening next week. Of course, 3 days of lettering, all types of lettering from all types of lettering experts. So feel free to join us at adobelive.com for that starting on Tuesday. All right, let me go back to the timing real quick. Let me check one more thing. All right. So a person asked in the comments, why wasn't that transparent? It's because I hadn't done it the proper way to make it transparent, which I did while that commercial was playing. So there's a transparency. What I hadn't done was I tried to just use a blending mode, which apparently blending modes may not be supported in the preview, which clearly something was not going on with the blending mode. So what I did instead was object, clipping path, options, and basically I just told it to detect edges. In other words, look for what's probably going to be something that should be clipped out and do it. Previewed it, it was okay, and then of course it worked properly in the preview after that. So that's to answer that person's question, why wasn't that working? Yep, live streaming on, Michael Chase is in the house, and Michael is going to be one of the ones hosting that event starting tomorrow. Not today, but tomorrow. Okay, so that's a couple of the things that we've done thus far to make this interactive. So we have our clouds floating by. We have our live stream logo, which is now a button that people can click on. And again, if I were really going to do this for real, I'd go in Photoshop and cut that out properly, get rid of the fake shadow and put in a real shadow here, or get rid of the shadow completely and do the shadow another way. But again, just to show you quickly how that other document was animated. It was simply animated the same way using the animation capabilities here in the animation panel inside of InDesign. So let's do one more real quick, and we'll do this one using an InDesign frame. We won't necessarily bring in a graphic to do this. Let's use a frame to do it. So what I want, I can do this a couple of different ways. I'll use, I guess I can use the polygon tool. Nah, you know what? I'll use the rectangle. It'll be easier to do it this way. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a rectangle. I'll just draw one in the upper left corner here. And what I really want is I don't want a rectangle. I want a triangle. And had this been Illustrator, I could have used the tool to make that triangle really easy. But since this is InDesign, I can still do it. I just have to do it with one extra step. And that extra step is I'm going to take the pen tool. And there's a delete anchor point on the pen tool. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that anchor point to convert that into the triangle that I dreamed about when I really wanted to do this. All right, so now we got our triangle frame. The next thing I want to do is give that a fill color. And it could be any color. For this example, it really doesn't matter. So I can make that a nice cyan, or even pick up a color from the cloud. So for example, using, oh, you know what's cool? I get easily sidetracked. You know what's cool? I would normally reach for the eyedropper for something like this, but that'd be kind of old school now based on InDesign's current capabilities. InDesign has a better eyedropper. It's called the color theme tool. So rather than me just picking random colors throughout the clouds, what this will do is if I take the theme tool and I click it on the cloud image, or there it is, it will actually build a theme of colors out of that image for me. And I can either save that to a library or add those to the swatches in this document. Either way. And I can even pick variations of those themes. And I kind of like muted better. All right, so let's go ahead and add those to the swatches panel. And we've got the swatches panel right here. And let's see, that theme right there, muted theme is there now. So now I have the colors I want. And of course, I can pick any one of those colors for my new triangle that I just created. I kind of like that color. We'll use that. All right, so that's the color theme tool. Highly recommend you check it out. All right, so now that I've got my triangle in place, basically drawing a rectangle, deleting one of the points, then filling it with a color from the actual cloud. You can actually see it there. Next thing I want to do is I want to animate that flying in from the left. So for example, we'll just go to we have a rectangle selected. We'll just choose a preset and we'll have that preset. Let's see, we did a move in before. Let's fly in from the left. And so it kind of does that. We can have that happen slower or faster. So let's have that take 2 seconds as well. And again, now we have to think about timing. Do I want that all to happen at the same time? Do I want the first two things to happen first while that slides in? And chances are I never want to wait 20 seconds before that slides in. So we probably want to make that happen sooner. So let's go to the timing panel. There's our new rectangle. Again, our rectangle has nothing to do with the other two that we linked together because we just created that rectangle after the fact. So for example, I can have them all together so that now they all happen at the same time. But let's see if we can delay this by, I've never done an individual delay like that with a link, so let's try it. All right, so that's done. Did I do that? 3 seconds? There we go. All right, so now that rectangle's delayed by 3 seconds. So let's see what that looks like. And there it is. Okay, so they all played together. The rectangle, which is now a triangle, was delayed by 3 seconds. And again, that happens. Now, if you want to have type appear on that, or hand lettering from Michael Chase appear on that, you can have that now happen after the fact. So that's how these interactive documents are basically built in InDesign. It's really just thinking through how you want the animation to look, how you want it to work, which parts you want to be clickable, which parts you want to play at a certain time, whether you want them all to play on page load, whether or not you want them to play when someone actually clicks or taps on something. And it's really just up to you to decide, make those decisions in the animation and timing panel. Now you notice the next panel, there's a media panel, and that media panel is really, it won't do anything now because I don't have any media set, but that's if I wanted to place a movie. So for example, if I placed a movie in here, I could actually have that movie be clickable, playable, so forth and so on. But I can even designate what the poster frame, in other words, that initial frame is going to be. And that's important, especially for an interactive document, because unless you specifically put a play button around it, a still frame of a video, no one's going to know it's a video. So no one knows that they should actually click on that for it to do something unless you spell it out with the text around it, make a play button near it, or make a poster frame for your video that has a play button right in the middle of it. So people they see that triangle, they know they're supposed to click or tap on that to play that movie. What I would recommend you never do is have movies autoplay with sound. I don't mind a movie playing as long as it has no sound. But if I go to anyone's site, anyone's page, and music just starts blaring, and I didn't click to make that happen, I'm going to get out of that page as quickly as I possibly can. So auto-playing movies are okay. Auto-playing movies with sound, not okay. And you can control that in the media panel. All right, so we kind of got the basics out of the way now. Let's go ahead and thank you, Diego. You said it looks great. All right, cool. This is cool. I didn't know this. I'm very new to InDesign. Well, great. Glad you guys are learning. All right, so now let's head over to our original document. Now you'll know how some of these animations work. And again, these are just multiple pages. Some of these have videos, some of them don't. But even when they do, there's explanations of what they are. underneath or to the side or to the right of them, so forth and so on. So now, how do we get a document like the one we just created or like the one that's right here online? Well, it used to be buried in the menu option. Now it's actually exposed right here in the interface. There's an actual Publish Online button right here at the top of the control panel. So whatever document, whether it's interactive or not, you want to put online, just simply hit Publish Online. That'll bring up the interface, and this is completely included in your Creative Cloud membership. If you have InDesign CC, then you have the access to be able to publish online. The Publish Online document is hosted by Adobe, and it originally came out as a technology preview, but it's advanced and gotten a lot better since that technology preview a couple years ago. Now it's a full-fledged feature here in InDesign. There's general and advanced options. Publish it as a new document or update one of my existing ones I've already done. Give it a title. So for example, I would say 5 days from nowhere. And I don't need the rest of that. It doesn't have to have the rest of that title. Just go ahead and take that off. And I can give it a description. I can tell it which pages. And these are new options. So for example, allow viewers to download the document as a PDF. So in other words, if I click that, it'll make a PDF of it on the fly, allowing people to have a link to download it without me doing anything extra. I don't have to make a separate PDF and upload that and link to it. That's just a built-in feature. And here's another one, hide and share embed options in the published document, because Publish Online documents can be embedded on your, sorry if I made a sound there, can be embedded on your own website. So even though it's hosted by Adobe, even though that's Adobe's engine driving it, you can take this published document and put it on your own website using the embed feature. If you don't want people doing that, then you can simply hide those options. All right, so we're going to make a new document. We're going to go ahead and hit publish and let that cook for a second while I look at your comments. All right. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so someone said they had a quality issue when they tried it. Can your doc be responsive? No, it can't. So if you need a responsive web page, then that's a whole different thing. Dun, 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 dun. Where can I play an EPUB? You can play an EPUB on any device with an EPUB viewer. All right, so now my document's been uploaded. It's ready to go. Here's the custom URL to my specific document that I can always come back and get. I can view the document online, and of course I can tweet it out, share it on Facebook, or email the link to anyone. So if I say view the document, it brings it up in my other browser, of course. Here it comes. All right, so here's the document. Shows me a little navigation thumbnail, which that's also fairly new. That wasn't in the original one. Because I think a lot of people just didn't know you could navigate through it. So you have the ability to navigate. You have some other options down here at the bottom, one of which I just want to make sure you know about, and that is the embed option. Is buried over there on the right-hand side. So if you were looking for that after the fact or on someone else's that you wanted to embed, that's where you get the embed option to get the embed code. I bring that up here. Oh, there we go. Get the embed code to embed this on your own website. So that's where you would get it to put it on your own site. However, so if I now click, that will take me through the document with all the bills, all the things, including the movies, which the controller, which is a media option, was set to show the controller here. So I have the ability now to know that these are movies just because I have the controller set here. So I can play these movies in my interactive document. And these movies got in InDesign by simply placing them just like any other InDesign image. All right, so I can either jump to a page that way or use the navigation. I think you can turn these thumbnails off. Let's go full screen. No, I think you can do that. Yeah, toggle thumbnails. There we go. Or toggle them to the bottom, toggle them to the top. Well, if I'm going to have them anywhere, I'd rather have them on the bottom. All right, so let's go here. Another just kind of animations fading into the document. A link to play the video for this particular page. And again, just that scrolling panorama. Now, this one's got something interesting. You notice how that mountain on the left-hand side is blinking? That's kind of giving you an indicator of, well, something's going on there. Maybe I should put my mouse over it and see what happens. And click, and there we go. So that's a kind of a scrolling bar that pops. And all that is a bar at the bottom of the document page that when you click the button, it scrolls it up. Click the button again, it scrolls it down. So that's how that one was built. And that one did have a video that is set to autoplay. All right. Same thing on here. One that scrolls up. And click it again, scrolls back down. So once you see one of those and you interact with it, you kind of know the rest will be scrolling panels. All right. You can zoom in on these. So if something small you need to zoom in on, you can do. You can go full screen or get out of full screen. And you can, I think that's about it. I'll have to check to see if the thumbnails can be disabled. The thumbnails are fairly new. So I hadn't noticed before that there was even the toggle button, but I'll check to see if they can be actually turned off or not. That I'm not sure about. All right. Seems kind of slow. Well, what seemed kind of slow is playing back here in real time. Do you need to group that? Do you need to group what? If you want something to animate together, then you can group it into timing, but it doesn't necessarily need to be grouped to animate. So you can animate, you'd have to animate them individually or animate it as a selection and then control the timing for multiple things to work together. All right. Can objects have can any object have an in and out animation? Just about. I can't think of one that can't. So for example, if I close this and we go back to my document, we animated this triangle, for example, we animated that in. We could have just as easily did a fly out and have those objects fly out. They don't have to fly in. Dun, 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 dun. You were asking about the click reveal bar thing. I would say that grouping certainly would help, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Embed from Adobe. Would you need a different plugin using WordPress to embed from Adobe? You shouldn't need a different plugin. It's just standard embed code. So you should be able to embed it. Tracking and metrics. That's a good question. Hang on, let's go back to InDesign. I believe there is a Publish Online dashboard. And that Publish Online dashboard is going to give you, let's go back. I don't know if this really gives you any metrics. I know it gives you, analytics, there we go. New. Ask for it and it shall come. So the analytics are new, and that will show you your analytics for the documents you have published. So, brand new, because you asked for it. Alrighty, I am about at the end of my time here. I just want to spend a few minutes here with you today showing you some of the interactive things you can do with InDesign, and more importantly, taking those interactive documents and publishing them online. And once again, in case you missed that, I did it so fast. Under your file menu, once you've published one document, you have a Publish Online dashboard, and that dashboard will help you go to see what's published, unpublished things, get links to things you forgot were published, and now metrics. Get metrics for those things that you have published and they're being viewed. All right. First in, then out. No, you don't have to do you don't have to bring it in first and then go out. I could just take something that's on the page and have it fly out. Or I can fly it in and fly it out. It's up to you. You can do it either way. All right. Cool. Glad you guys like it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to join us tomorrow at adobelive.com for the 3 days of lettering. And Michael Chase is going to be hosting that. If he's still in the chat, I'm sure he'll chime in. Otherwise, we will catch you starting tomorrow, first thing in the morning. I think it's 9 a.m. Pacific time is when they kick that off. And it will be at adobelive.com, which is our front end to the YouTube stream that you'll be watching. There will be likely prize giveaways for that as well. So you definitely want to tune in and check it out. I think they're going to be live in Paris. All right. With that, cheers. Take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody.